Hi, my name is Megan Easton, formerly Cerna. I am from Denver, Colorado, and this is my teaching interaction. The reason that I wanted to get involved with strengthening marriages and families through FLE is I am divorced and I was in a marriage with domestic violence, and I really struggled with that and the decision to divorce and trying through separation to make it work. And I just wanted to be able to help families and especially women who were possibly in the same situation as I was. And I wanted to also help families that are in stressful situations and teaching them coping mechanisms. And when I was going through my divorce, we had to take a co-parenting class, and essentially the instructor was an FLE or a CFLE, and she really helped me with a lot of the things that I was going through, and I just wanted to have the chance to do that. I also would like to work with domestic violence victims, as I am one, and I think just really empowering women and even men who have been in those situations. And I'd also like to work on preventative courses through FLE, and maybe work with individuals who are having an issue with domestic violence and are willing to work on it and willing to come learn and willing to come learn those coping mechanisms. And I just really want to work with those families that are impacted by domestic violence, even if it is in the third stage of FLE, and teaching women co-parenting strategies, or how to deal with the separation or the divorce process, but having that eternal perspective on it still, even though it's a hard thing to do. For my specific expertise, strengths, and abilities, I've worked in the school system. As you can see, I'm in a school building right now. I worked in the school systems for 7 years. I've worked with elementary age students, special needs students. I've worked with parents in all capacities that I've worked in, and I currently am a student monitor. I am in charge of our detention and working with those students who have those behavioral issues. So from somebody who isn't a college graduate, I have a lot of responsibility and actually experience working with kids and families who are in stressful situations, and a lot of kids who have seen domestic violence. And I just hope I get the chance to help through the FLE functions. I also, I obviously, being a domestic violence victim and somebody who's gone through a divorce, and I'm part of the mass who needs the family life education, I still am constantly searching for co-parenting courses and single parenting courses, and I just think that it's important to continue that learning and just dealing with my kids and the behavioral issues they have as a result of my decisions to divorce my husband, and his actions that he's taken since our divorce. And I have experience, and I want to learn about that and then eventually help others in the same capacity as those who are helping me. And then for the importance of strong theoretical and research-based foundation for the practicum, we're constantly bombarded with information to families on, this is how you should raise your child, this is how you should put your child to bed, this is how you should be dealing with your spouse, this is how, there's so much information to families, and using that research-based and gospel-based doctrine, especially in this practicum setting, is what's going to be most important and what is going to help us to learn the most from. It's going to just overwhelm families, and it's one thing to be overwhelmed by research-based information that is going to be helpful, that you can take notes on, and then to be bombarded with information that's fluff and just unnecessary and often not even true. the correct information is beneficial to all families and to no matter what stage of the process you are in, and no matter what walk of life you're from or what you're currently going through. But false information will be detrimental and damaging to all families, no matter their stance.
All staff, this is Jim. Just by way of reminder,
I apologize.
Our staffing will begin at 2:30 in the auditorium. Thanks.
And then for our practicum, we're practicing for our careers. We're practicing to be family life educators. And part of that practicing, we need to use that research based. We need to learn to use it and not take the easy way outs. And then I want to work on, for the level of prevention that I would like to work on, like I've kind of expressed, I would like to work mostly in the secondary and the tertiary. For secondary, I just have personal experience. I've been in those classes where it was trying to make your marriage work. It was trying to figure out whether you should divorce or if there's other options. And even though I was alone, it helped me process and in a way process the grief that I was experiencing from what was happening to me and what was happening to my children. And I just want to be able to help somebody else do that. And then I know personally, I wonder what if someone would have pointed my ex-husband in that direction and in the direction of getting help and being preventative. And he didn't have that from his family. And he even got in trouble with the law and they didn't really point him in that direction. And I want to find a way to intervene and to help families that are in need of it and help people see you really do need help. And then I just want to be willing to help those other couples and people who might be going through similar situations that I am. For the tertiary, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I really want to concentrate on women who are domestic violence victims and hopefully find a niche in the FLE system where I can really work with those women and their children, and because it's a really hard thing. For me personally, I've realized that domestic violence, it doesn't stop even after you're divorced, even after you've physically removed yourself, because of the system and because of the way that the government is trying to help families. You can't really remove yourself like you did 20 years ago. And my ex-husband's still a very big part of my children's life. And not that I wouldn't want him to be, but there's still a form of domestic violence that occurs for us, and an abusive nature in conversations, just a lot of things that you have to deal with, even though you're divorced and you're physically removed from the situation. And I just want to be able to help and give women the tools and the knowledge and the methods that will help them to make it through those difficult situations while you're trying to raise your own kids. I also would really be interested in co-parenting classes, which is probably interesting for a lot of you because of the perspective of not very many LDS people are divorced. And but for me, co-parenting has been a big part of my life, and I would like to help others who are in that situation, and especially those domestic violence victims, because it is so close to my heart because of my personal experience. For the different stages, stage 1 for problem analysis, why is identifying the problem or need of the target audience so important? For one, when you're in an FLE setting and you're the family life educator, you want to make sure you're getting your message to the right audience. You want to make sure those people are there because they want to be there to learn, because they want to have access to the tools that you can present, have access to the methods that you're going to show them, that really you're talking to the right people and that they're in the right place. And your target audience, they need to be there because they want to learn what you have to say. Otherwise, it's not going to be successful for them, and it's not going to be successful for you. And also knowing what their looking for from you and why they're there. You know how to help. You know what tools to bring. You know what resources to give them. You know what methods to show them. And then for stage 2 for the program design, we need to assess the specific needs of the target audience. And we do that. I mean, you can do that by giving a survey and asking them what they want to hear from your class. I mean, a couple of classes I've done that. I've received emails from the instructors and they've said, what do you want to know? What do you want to hear from us? And I mean, it's important to get that feedback from people, but you know, you're teaching a class on co-parenting. You need to design the program around co-parenting. You need to gather the info and the tools to help support those needs of those individuals who are attending your class. And then it also is helpful in figuring out which theories you need to apply. A family who is grieving needs probably some coping methods. Whereas a co-parenting class, they don't need as many coping methods as they need resources and suggestions on how to co-parent, what it should look like. Because this is the first time I've been divorced. I don't know what it should have looked like until I took my co-parenting class. And I mean, it doesn't go according to plan all the time, but I kind of know through those classes what to expect. And that's where you need to keep your program design in mind. So my thoughts on marketing family life education. I think that social media is a big tool for us nowadays. I mean, the way that I found out about it was through our county's Facebook page. Was they were advertising this co-parenting class and somebody shared it and I saw it. So you need to use those tools that you have at hand to market when you're a family life educator. Also using a website. I know that at the school I work at, our counseling program, they have they have a list of things that you can come and you can look into as parents. And I think I'm starting to go over on time maybe. So I'm going to skip down a little bit on my outline. I think that as a family life educator, it's important to keep in mind that we love one another, that we give support, that the father and mother work together. When we're teaching family, it doesn't matter if you're divorced. It doesn't matter if you're separated. It doesn't matter if you're happily married. You need to be working together as the father and mother of those children. Some things are out of our control, and that's just the way it is. But you have to keep in mind that those are your parents, or those are the parents, and you need to be teaching, no matter what the setting is, ways for them to cope, ways for them to work together. And then just keeping that eternal family perspective. And I know that we can bring our personal beliefs into it and that it can really benefit the lives of others, just like the woman who taught my co-parenting class. And that pretty much sums it up, I think. Thanks for listening.